Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69, and welcome back to the final day of the World of Dummies week. I said at the beginning of the week, if you're going to send me a World of Dummies replay, please make sure, I would recommend, that you don't send one of yourself. Now, I'm not going to be held responsible for those that decide to send me replays of World of Dummies and decide to do something for themselves. And if they get abused from anybody due to my video, it's their own fault. It's their own fault. So we're watching the OP Russian whoever in the Panterra. Now, okay, the WZ1110 is going to get a little bit salty, and he does get a little bit salty. I mean, he wanted to push the hill. There's a load of tanks there, no problem. And the Panterra is just sitting behind all the heavies. Now, I'm not saying that is an absolute bad thing. I probably wouldn't have rushed the hill. If you look at the team composition, it's 2 mediums on his team versus 2 mediums and a light tank on the enemy team. However, the only person that wanted to rush the hill is an IS-5. Somehow, an IS-5 managed to get the hill full hit point. So, this Panterra was not happy that the WZ-110 got a little bit salty. So, instead of ignoring it, as you should, and just carrying on with your game, he does this. Now, yes, the WZ shouldn't have been so salty, but seriously, you are about to ruin the entire battle for your whole team. Not just for this guy. I mean, look at your team there. Yes, they're sitting back, but they can't push because there is an IS-5 that has managed to get up on the hill. They're actually going to win this game, man. I'm going to eat my words, and they're going to come back and actually win this game. But they did get kind of lucky. And a lot of it is because they decided to flank around. There was the Panterra on the enemy team that decided to flank around. And a lot of that is just luck. I mean, both teams are quite bad. So eventually, 2.5 minutes in, or just over 2 minutes, he decides to give up. But that's still 2 minutes of the entire battle that you could be doing damage, that the WZ-1110 could be doing damage, and you're just sat there sulking because he had something bad to say. Ignore it. Ignore it. There is no space in Blitz for this kind of behaviour. And yes, he can be salty, but that is not going to stop you playing your battle. Let him sulk. Whereas you sitting in front of him, blocking him for the entire rest of the battle almost, it's not needed. It's not acceptable. And I really do hope Wargaming sees these kind of videos and decides to act on it, because you deserve to be banned, man. You deserve to be banned. And yes, the WZ probably deserves to maybe have a warning or ban for... He didn't say nothing like... Mate, he was just calling the team noobs because they was just all sat there. The mediums didn't rush the hill. They just sat there. But that didn't... For me, that didn't warrant for what you did. And you almost ruined the entire game just because you didn't like what he said. Ignore it. That is all you have to do, is ignore it. But as I said, luckily they do manage to come back and win. And the WZ there is offering a 1 versus 1. Come 1 versus 1 me. Like, noob, I'll have you. And all you do is talk, and all you do is block. Like, you're both in the wrong. You're both in the wrong. And if you don't like what I'm saying, do not send me a replay naming it Dummies if it's you. Simple. But next up, we're going to completely different. There's no salt, really, and we're going to watch Gold Spammer from the North. Now, what an incredible game this is. This is #1 in the Hall of Fame. But his team and the enemy team kind of helped him out. It was like it was a 1 versus 13. He's on his own. The team does absolutely nothing. And I'm quite surprised on how much damage he actually picks up, considering it's a tier 6 game. There's only tier 3, tier 7s. The rest are tier 6. If I was going to guess, like, if this kind of damage, if I would have just seen the front screen and see this kind of damage, I would have kind of guessed that, okay, maybe he was the only tier 7 against a load of tier 8s. But no, it's like he's against 13. Now, he's going to push forward. As we know, the JPanther has been buffed. It's pretty much OP now. The armor is insane. DPM's insane. Speed's okay as well. It is an all-round fantastic tank. And he's going to get lucky. Don't get me wrong. He's going to get very lucky with just what his team... They just sit there. Literally, they sit there. They do not move. And almost the same with the enemy team. It's like they just don't want to fight. And that KV3, he's going to get lucky because, as you can see, the KV3 is started to push the middle here. He's actually now gone AFK, or he's just about to go AFK. I think he's actually... No, he's still there for the time being. But he is going to go AFK. So when you're going to have a battle like he has here, and then you're left alone at the end, and then you find an AFK, it's just like absolutely perfect for him. But there's one tank down already. There's one tank down on his team within the first minute of the game. There's the P43 there. He does get a shot and he gets a nice bounce. But his team, just look at the minimap. No one is moving. Just look, not even a little bit. Like maybe the heavy just behind him has now started moving. But other than that, no one is moving a muscle. Now, the KV-1S takes out the KV-1S, and he has now the MT-25 that is flanking around. So he is going to back up. Luckily, the MT-25 has a small gun, doesn't do too much damage if he only gets the couple of shells on the autoloader. Hasn't got the best pen, and it hasn't got no armor. Now, you can see the Hellcat there. He's hiding. A couple of teammates have decided to sit forward, go forward a little bit. So he's now turned his attention to the MT-25. He knew he was getting shot from behind. He knew this MT-25 could pretty much be on his own. He does fluff that shot there, but he does get mostly all bounces from this MT-25 from his entire clip. Failed that HE roll there, 165 damage. There goes the KV-3 on his team, which now leaves it a 4 versus 6. The MT-25 is not really a good tank to chase. It's a really quick tank, and when you're in a turretless TD, it's not the best tanks to try and catch up with. But luckily, the MT-25 isn't such a special player. Actually, he is a special player. He isn't such a good player after all, and he's just literally like, yeah, come shoot me. Like, I did no damage to you. But yeah, so it's a 3-on-5, and just look at the red team. They're also just sat there. They're also just sat there. His team is still there. I mean, looks like a medium tank is just following him around. If you look at the minimap, there is a light tank to the left, but there's still 5 enemy tanks. Bearing in mind, 1 is AFK, so let's say 4 enemy tanks. There's still a lot of hit points to get through. There's the KV-1S, who just doesn't care about hiding. He's just focused on one tank, which is that LTTB. So he's now racked up 2,800 damage. He gets that nice shot there in on the KV-1S to bring it down to a 3-on-4, and he has now got 2 kills. So he's bounced 855, so he's bounced almost as much hit points as he's got left. I mean, if he wouldn't have bounced any, he'd be left with like 3 hit points. Against 4, there is no way that you're winning this game. So he's going to get behind the VK, who thinks he's hiding, and he is now going to back up, and he doesn't want to get shot. Out of everything, he really doesn't want to get shot from that SU-152. He does get shot. I think that may have been from the T-29. So that is such a shame, because he is now a one-shot to that SU-152. So he has to be very, very careful. There goes the LTTB. It now just leaves 2 against 3. And at the moment, he is not aware that this KV-3 is AFK. So he is going to try and get that shot, plays it very, very risky, backs up, and now the SU-152 has to come over that hill. He should be clearing this guy. He should be clearing it, but he gets a lucky bounce, and he is able to shoot him once more. And I think he's, actually, he bounces, but the VK, look at him, he's not moving, he's just turning his turret. At least it did help. It brings him down to a one-shot, and he is able to clear him. So 4,500 damage, and he's now going to focus on the T-29, who luckily isn't focused on him just yet. He is focused on the VK. So now he's on his own against 2 tanks. 5,100 damage, and he is able to clear the T-29 without taking any more damage. So 5,400 damage. He knows that there's a KV-3 there. He didn't know he was AFK until around about now. So 1.5 minutes left on the clock. He's already had a monster game. absolute monster game. One of the highest in tier 7 that I've ever seen. And now he's pretty much realised he's AFK, and what a better time to come. I mean, you've had a monster game, and then right at the end, you find an AFK. Like, that is just amazing for him. I bet he was just so like, yes, look at all this free damage. Brings him down to a one-shot, and hopefully with this, he can clear him for his 6th and final kill. I think he deserves a Rosani medal there, because the team just did absolutely nothing. 6,800 damage in a tier 7. Crazy. 78,000 credit, top gun, high caliber. Just look at that. Look at that. 252 damage was the next top damage. 1,789 base XP. Amazing. Thank you guys for sending me that in. I enjoyed them really much, that replay. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.